Hey everyone, Sycra here, and my good buddy Bob Meatbag wanted me to critique this picture he had done. I guess it was a study for a comic book page, and so I figured I might as well record it and it could help more people. So the first thing that I see is, okay, so the story reads as such. There's a guy and he's in an airport. So this is the first panel here. There's the first panel. And then second panel, we get closer in. And then third panel, we see him looking at his phone. And fourth panel, close up on the phone saying his flight's delayed. And fifth panel, he's pissed off. Okay, now with Western comics that are read left to right, you want to have this Z going on. That goes like this, right? So your eye travels from this direction down to this. But what's happening here is really confusing because you've got two horizontal panels and a vertical panel, and it reads almost like, to me, it's like this is clearly panel 1, but then I don't know if this is panel 2 or this is panel 2. Now, I guess it doesn't make a whole lot of difference in your story. It's not like there's dialogue. But I wouldn't do this. And then the other thing I see is you've got this vertical, and then you've got this vertical, and this is a pretty vertical panel too. And it's a lot of the same thing going on. So if I was to do this, and the first thing I do is I always do a bunch of thumbnails, I'm going to, well, before I even do the thumbnails, I record the story beats. So what's happening here? First one is establishing. So it's an establishing shot, and it shows that we're in the airport. Okay, now what's the next thing that happens? Not the next panel that you've drawn, but what's the next thing that happens? Well, he checks his phone. So, guy checks phone, and we're also getting introduced to the guy. And then the next one is phone shows that flight's delayed. Shows flight delay. And then he's angry. Guy is angry. So there's 4 beats here. And I don't think you need one of these. I think, like, it's good to have an establishing shot, and then I get why you're zooming in, because you want to show, like, oh, this is what's going on, then this is a story about this guy. But the thing is, this isn't a movie, this is a comic book, so you're limited in however many panels. Like, you want to reduce your panels to only what's necessary. So the first thing I would do is probably create this big establishing shot, because we're establishing he's in the airport. So I would have him probably centered. And then, yeah, you have all the other benches, and then you have your perspective to show that he's in an airport. And just by having him in the middle area, you can also do this with lighting, like put some of these guys in shadow or put clumps of people around, but it will still focus on this guy. So the next thing is that these two, so this is the establishing, this feels like one thing. And then these two, the checking the phone and the phone showing the flight delay seem like one thing. And then this one, the guy angry, seems like one thing, because this is where it's at, this is what's going on, and this is his reaction to that. So the first thing is, yeah, you establish it here in a long shot, what this guy is about. Then I think what you can do is have a shot, like have 2 shots. And maybe this could even be bigger, this establishing shot. But you could have 2 shots, maybe like so, and then a 4th shot. So then when you read it like this Z thing, you know this is the first panel, second, third, fourth. And then what I would do is, you see this one's a head-on shot. It's very just front view. Then this one's front view, this one's front view, front view, front view. It's pretty boring. There's a bit of a 3/4 view to that one, so that's better. But what I would do is, like, okay, have this one a front view. Then maybe he's checking his phone. Fine. So he's checking his phone, and it's more of a 3/4 view, you know, like something like this. So keep it really rough. You don't have to do detail here, but hopefully this is clear enough. So he's checking his phone, and then there's other guys behind from the benches, and the perspective is going like this. And then you have this, like a view of him holding his phone, and that's your close-up. And now you've got two, his thumb would be, where would his thumb be? Here, and then the other fingers would be behind here. But yeah, he's holding his phone like that. So you've got this as this kind of diagonal, and this as this kind of diagonal. So it's kind of balanced out, where you have like long vertical, or long horizontal here, and then you've got like a V shape. And then what I would do is just a close-up of this guy's eye. So we have an extreme close-up, and that shows his reaction. Like, oh, he's really annoyed about that the flight's delayed. And I think that's all you need. You don't need to add an extra frame. I think you'll get it. You see this guy, and then if he's still wearing the same clothes and whatever, you know it's the same guy. And then, yeah, you show the phone. Like, this isn't bad. What you have here, it's not bad at all. And then his reaction, you don't even need his mouth, because you can just get all of that with just the eyes. And then the other thing you want to think about is, again, you have a very distant, like, a long shot, then you have another long shot-ish, and then a medium shot, and then a close-up and an extreme close-up. No, this too is an extreme close-up. And long shots, they tend to just be, for people who don't know, it's like when you see the entire image. And then a medium shot is usually from head to the waist, like top of the head to the waist. If all that's in the frame, it's usually a medium shot. And then a close-up is usually, you know, the entire head, neck, and shoulders are in the page, that's a close-up, or in the frame, that's a close-up. And then an extreme close-up is like, you know, just the eye, or, you know, it's within the head or something like that. So you want a good balance of that. So here we have an extreme long shot, so long shot, and then we get to a medium shot, and then we have a close-up, and then we have an extreme close-up. So that's pretty much my critique for this. That's what I would do if I was in your shoes. Sorry, like, the drawings are pretty rough, but hopefully you can get a sense of what's going on. I guess this one's the most rough. The guy. Here's the guy, and he's looking at his phone. And you can vary it as much as you want. Like, maybe you want a different type of long shot, establishing shot, but usually the establishing shots aren't necessarily too focused on, you know, very dramatic things. I mean, you could have a very dramatic perspective for an establishing shot, but it's usually not necessary. Or you could have, like, you know, we're in an airport, and the signs are here, and then you have the chairs here, and the guy's in it, like that, whatever. And that's kind of not too important. So after Bob watched the critique I gave him, he decided he wanted to redo the image with the suggestions I made so that the knowledge stuck. And this is something I really recommend to anybody who gets a critique. It's very helpful to try and redo the image with what you've learned. And this is what he came up with. And you can see the flow is much better. You've got that nice Z thing going on where you clearly know this is the first panel, second, third, fourth. And in my opinion, it's better storytelling. It's just more interesting with the variation of shots. You compare this, it's like front view, front view, front view, front view, front view. Here it's front view, but then a 3/4, and then front. But just having this varies things, and yeah, all the information is there. So I'm really glad Bob Meatbag redid this, and I hoped it helped him. And for the rest of you, I hope it helps as well, and thanks for watching.